You have to check this out. If you're wanting to do billions of damage in one hit, this is the best barbarian build for you. What's up everyone, Ghosted here, and today I want to show you one of the most unique and insane builds for barbarian that is out in season 5 right now. This build does focus on using the weapon mastery skill Deathblow that does overpowered damage that can reach up to hundreds of millions to equaling out to billions of damage once you got your gear masterworked a little bit. I'm not trolling. This build is my fastest Lilith kill. I also can be partied up in a group of 4 and kill the tormented bosses all by myself in around 4 seconds. So I think you guys are going to enjoy this build. I'm going to go ahead and break it all down for you. I'll have a build guide linked for you in the description, as well as a pinned comment down below the video as well. So let's get straight into it. So first things first, we're going to go ahead and talk about the gear for this build, and I'm going to try and make it as easy as possible for you guys. So I'm going to show the legendaries, the uniques, and the mythic uniques for each gear slot so you are confident in what gear to use, okay? Okay, so starting off with our helmet, this is going to be the Crown of Lucian. I highly recommend this as your main helmet for this build. You can actually target farm this in the Infernal Hordes by opening the gear chest at the end after you defeat the bosses. And you do want to masterwork the cooldown reduction and max life. And if you don't have Crown of Lucian, but you do have Harlequin's Crest, you can use it, but it is going to be a lot less damage than Crown of Lucian. And of course, you masterwork the cooldown reduction on Harlequin's Crest. For our chest piece, we use the aspect of the Fortress, and you want Strength, Max Life, and Healing Received. If you're getting one-shotted, switch Max Life to Armor. Go ahead and temper Invigorating Fury, as well as Steel Grasp stuns for a couple seconds. And you really want to try to triple the masterworking for Invigorating Fury. If you can't, do Healing is Received as well. And for our chest, the mythic unique you can use is Tyrael's Might. Will give you damage reduction as well as a ton of resistance. You may have some issues generating fury and keeping your fury good for consistent damage. So if you are having trouble, go back to using the legendary aspect with Invigorating Fury. And you want to go ahead and masterwork the damage reduction as well as max resistance. And for our gloves, you want to use the aspect of Inner Calm with strength, attack speed, and ranks to core skills. You do want to temper damage while berserking with crowd control duration, and go ahead and masterwork ranks to core skills. And for our pants, we do use the unique Tibalt's Will. This does drop from Undario as well as Duriel on any difficulty, so you can do the EG versions and it'll still drop as well. And you do want to masterwork damage reduction while unstoppable. And for boots, I will show legendary boots up on screen if you would like to use them, but I do highly recommend using the unique boots, Yen's Blessing. These drop from defeating Lord Zir, again on any difficulty, and masterwork resource generation as well as all stats. Okay, the amulet you're going to want for this build is actually going to be Banished Lord's Talisman. This actually drops from Duriel as well as Undario on any difficulty. This unique amulet pairs really well with Crown of Lucian. Together, they are going to be forming tons of overpowered damage, and that is actually the main form of damage here. And you really want to masterwork ranks to core skills, and if you can, also attack speed. And so our first ring is actually going to be the Starlight aspect with strength, max life, and attack speed. You'll want to temper damage while berserking, as well as resource cost reduction, and make sure to masterwork the resource cost reduction and strength. The next ring we want to use in combination with our first ring is actually the unique ring, Ring of Red Furor. Sorry, I just call it Ring of Red Fruit Loops. I don't know how to say it. And you're going to want to masterwork the attack speed. And again, if you're not having issues generating fury, feel free to use this mythic unique Ring of the Starless Skies and masterwork crit chance as well as attack speed. But if you're having fury issues, I wouldn't recommend it. I would use Starlight aspect instead. Okay, so this is important. Our two-handed mace is going to be the unique mace Overkill. You need this unique for this build to work properly. It's going to make Deathblow create a shockwave that goes out frontal. You do want to masterwork the ranks to Deathblow as well as strength. Okay, so for our two-handed sword, I'm actually going to throw up a legendary on screen for you guys. It's going to be the aspect of Encroaching Wrath, and the stats are strength, max life, and crit strike damage. Go ahead and temper berserking duration as well as damage while berserking, and masterwork the strength and crit strike damage if you can. Also, if you have the mythic unique, the Grandfather, aka the Grandpapa, aka the Grandpappy, as we call it in my stream, definitely use this instead and masterwork all stats and max life. Okay, and so for our one-handed weapons, the legendary I recommend would actually be a one-handed mace for more overpowered damage, and you want to use the accelerating aspect. But if you have the two-handed sword, the grandfather, the aspect would actually be the encroaching wrath that I told you for the two-handed sword. And you want to make sure that it has strength, max life, and overpower damage. And make sure to temper damage while berserking, as well as berserking duration. And masterwork the overpower damage as well as strength. All right, our next one-handed weapon is actually a must-have. It is the unique sword, the third blade, not the third leg. So this unique is going to allow you to spam Deathblow combined with overkill. It makes for a really fun build. Go ahead and make sure you masterwork the weapon mastery damage as well as strength on it. Okay guys, here is the actual build planner for my Deathblow Barbarian build. If you come to the drop down right here, it's going to show you every single variation that I have created. So again, if you're not sure about which one to use, check them all out and it'll show you the gear for each one. Alright guys, so I did want to just remind you that the build planner will be linked in the description, and it will also be pinned as a comment down below the video as well, so you can see the gear literally at any time. Okay guys, so now I'm going to show you the rotation for the build. It's super simple. Pop your shouts and your ultimate same time, then you just go to town with Deathblow. You can try to land like one Hammer of the Ancients. If it overpowers, Hammer of the Ancients will increase your Deathblow damage for 40% for 5 seconds. And now I'm just going to show you what that looks like. Alright guys, and you're probably familiar with the weapon expertise, always being two-handed axe for pretty much every build. It does increase your vulnerable damage to enemies, so make sure you use that as well. Okay everybody, now we're going to look at the skill tree for the Deathblow Barbarian build. You just put 2 points pretty much into your basic skill, and then you come down to Hammer of the Ancients, and you go to Violent Hammer of the Ancients. You put 1 point into Pressure Point. Then you come down and you do 3 points to Imposing Present, Martial Vigor 3 points, 1 point into Rallying Cry, and then we get Enhanced so we can become unstoppable. You put 1 point into Outburst, and then 1 point into Tough as Nail. This is going to make enemies bleed. It'll correlate into the Paragon board for us. Then we come down and we get 1 point into Warcry, and then we get Enhanced Warcry. It will help with berserking as well. Then we max out Booming Voice. I took 1 point into Aggressive Resistance, 1 point into Prolific Fury, 3 points into Pit Fighter, 3 points into Slaying Strike, 1 point into Exposed Vulnerability. Okay, and so I put 5 points into Deathblow. Right now I'm using Warrior's Deathblow. If you're having trouble with Fury, you can actually use Fighter's Deathblow, and Deathblow will generate Fury for you. And then I went 1 point Thick Skin, 3 points Counter Offensive, and we're using maxed out Call of the Ancients with 3 points into Heavy Handed, 3 points into Brute Force, 3 points into Wallop, and then we went 1 point into Tempered Fury, and then we put 3 points into Invigorating Fury. You definitely want to make sure that you try to masterwork it on your chest piece. And then right now I am using Unbridled Rage for the key passive. It increases your damage by a ton. If you're having a ton of issues with Fury, switch to Unconstrained, okay? While you're berserking, you'll still have a damage buff. It just won't be as insane as Unbridled Rage. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at the Paragon board for this build really quickly. Just on the starting board here, we're going to go with Territorial. And then we come up to Carnage. And we use Might for our glyph. And you can either go up or you can come over. I'll just go over really quickly. And we use Blood Rage. And the glyph is Ire. And then coming back up this way, we actually use Warbringer. And the glyph that we use is Wrath. Then we come over this way. And we use Bonebreaker. And the glyph is Crusher. All right, and lastly, we are using the Decimator board paired with the Revenge glyph. Yeah, so the damage potential for this build gets pretty crazy. I would say it is definitely one of the hardest hitting builds for Barbarian currently in Season 5. I do hope you all enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or concerns or anything, just go ahead and leave a comment down below the video. And if you want something answered immediately, you can find me in my live stream over here on YouTube, as well as on Twitch at twitch.tv/ghosted. Also, guys, if you could like the video and subscribe to the channel, it would help me out a ton. I'm really trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. We're currently sitting at around 700, so we're getting very close to that mark. And yeah, that's it for the Deathblow Barbarian build. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. See ya.